Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's session titled Introduction to SharePoint Online, Moving to the Cloud with SharePoint 2016. My name is Martin, and I'll be in the meeting for the first 15 minutes. I am logged into this meeting as meeting operator. If you have any issues, you can contact me by typing a message in the chat window. You can also send our team an email at weregsup@microsoft.com. During the session, you have the ability to ask questions using the IM window. A survey link will be shared with you at the end of the meeting. We would greatly appreciate it if you would take a few minutes to complete our survey and provide feedback on your experience. This will help us to improve our services. Please note that the session is being recorded. And now I would like to welcome your instructors. What, you have the floor.
Hello everyone, thank you for the introduction. My name is Hua Chen and I will be today's session's speaker. So let me switch to my slide. I am the partner technical consultant service team, and I am delivering the pre-sales and advisory service to our partners. So in today's session, this is the first topic of the introduction to SharePoint Online technical series. So from today's session, I will give you the introduction about the tips to moving to the cloud with the SharePoint 2016, and I will also give you some information of what's new about the SharePoint 2016. So if you have any questions in today's session, you are feel free to ask me the questions, or you can also ask me the questions after today's sessions. So this is my email is huachen@microsoft.com. So you are feel free to reach out to me to ask questions. Okay. So let's get started, and let me give you the overview of our upcoming week's delivery agendas. So we will have two technical series to help you to ramp up from the beginner of the SharePoint Online to a master to the SharePoint Online. So we have two technical series. The one is the introduction to SharePoint Online, and the other is the technical deep dive on SharePoint Online. So in the next 2 weeks, we will be focusing on delivering the first technical series. So this is the first topic, and tomorrow I will be delivering the second topic on the external sharing with SharePoint Online and the partner-facing extranets. And in the next 2 weeks, our teams will giving you the other 4 topics on the delivery. So you are feel free to register the sessions and get ready on this topic. So starting from the March, so we will deliver the technical deep dive. These 4 topics will be the 300 levels. So you can learn from the more in-depth topics on the SharePoint Online. Okay. So here is the agenda. So by talking about the SharePoint Online, we will talk something about the SharePoint 2016. So we will talk about something about the hybrid scenarios, and give you the high-level informations about what is the SharePoint 2016 and how you can build the hybrid scenarios with the SharePoint 2016. So in the upcoming topics, we will give you more details about each scenarios in the hybrid scenarios with the SharePoint 2016. So we will cover 4 small topics in these 2 hours in today. Okay. So this is the model 1. So we are going to talk about the SharePoint 2016. So because when we have a lot of customers, they are moving to the Office 365 and moving to the SharePoint Online, they have their existing infrastructure. Probably they have the SharePoint they already have working for on the SharePoint 2016, 2007 or 2010, this kind of the existing infrastructures. So they are going to move to the online. So the Microsoft give you a way that your customer can move into the SharePoint Online with their own pace. So the hybrid scenarios is very important for our customers to decide to move part of their content into the SharePoint Online, and then they can move the other contents into the SharePoint Online by themselves. Yeah. So this is the model one. What you need to know about the SharePoint 2016, because SharePoint 2016 is a way you can build the hybrid scenarios for your customer. So here is the requirements for building the SharePoint 2016. This is the hardware requirements. We have the 4 installation scenarios. The first one is the single server role with the single server. So this is the most be used for the kind of the development or the test purpose. So you are evaluating the features with the SharePoint 2016, and also we have the from the second, third, and the fourth scenarios is you can build the something like the high availabilities or the disaster recovery scenarios here. So the second one is the single server role that uses single server. So this is mostly be used for the pilot and the user acceptance test installation scenarios for your customer. And for the single server role, you will have installed all the service on this single SharePoint server. With the third one is about the web application and web server and application server. So this is a very traditional 3-tier farms. So your customer, they can have the web tier, web front end applications, and they can also have the application servers. The application servers can be running such as the SharePoint search service application, or have the user profile service applications. So and the last one, we will have the web applications and the server in the 3-tier forms. That is typically can be used for the test or the production environment here. With the software requirements, so it is about the SharePoint 2016 can be running on the Windows Server 2012 R2 or the Windows Server 2016. And with the databases, this is recommended here. You have to have the SQL Server 2014 SP1 or the SQL Server 2016. So those are the requirements for building the SharePoint 2016. We have 3 deployment type. We have the single server farm, or the custom role farm, or the main role farm. So give you some information here. The single server farm is about that you only have one SharePoint server, and that SharePoint server will be installed almost everything. Something like you also installed the SQL Server that is installed with this SharePoint server, and also you probably have the Active Directory service. So this is mostly used for the test installations. So you create a single farm to test and use the common features, and would have the minimal changes. This is a very good for the basic assessment for using the SharePoint 2016. And we can also have the custom role farm. So this is quite similar to the SharePoint 2010 deployment. So with the custom role farm, you can have the single or multiple server farm with one or many SharePoint nodes. And also you can have the one or more SQL servers. So you can build the SQL server with the cluster or the availabilities. So the purpose of this farm, that is you can run in the custom ROM together. So you can running the custom the rows with so the rows can be the front end or the row can be the farm the application service. So this is a very typically can be used for the three-tier the architectures for your customers here. The main role is quite new, and this is a new feature with SharePoint 2016. So with the main role that you will be able to install a very single server on this SharePoint server. So you can have the front-end web server. This can be the application server, and it can be the distributed cache server, or you can have the search server on the main role farm. So actually, with the SharePoint 2016, this is the preferred method for the installations, and this would be a minimum for the main role. So you can later we will talk more about what is the main role deployment with the SharePoint 2016. Okay. We have a couple of the new features that is get in the SharePoint 2016, and we also got some improvements the features with the SharePoint 2016. So I just list some kind of the features here. So one is the new document library accessibilities. So this is the features which is now available in the SharePoint 2016 document libraries. So there are something like the landmarks, and you can have landmarks to a page, so people can make it easier to navigate. And also there are some kind of the text improvements, so for the all major navigation links. We also have something like the keyboard shortcuts, so that these keyboard shortcuts can be provided to the document, so the people can use some to this kind of the shortcuts to quickly to get started on working with the SharePoint. There are also kind of the focus improvements, such as people can keep focus on the prior elements, or they can focus on the trapping, right? Something like this. With the encrypted the connections, so you got to know that with the SharePoint 2016, so when you are setting up the SSL bindings into your Internet Information Service Manager to host your web applications, so the SharePoint will use the TSL 1.2 encryptions. So this is quite important here. So because you know that the TSL 1.0 connection encryptions so will be give you a better encryptions method to help you protect the transportations between your client and the SharePoint server. So if your client application supports the this kind of the encryption methods, so the SharePoint supports the TSL 1.0 connections. You know that with the SSL 3.0, so actually there is a security vulnerability that was identified in the SSL 3.0 protocol. So this kind of the security vulnerability that can allow an attacker to decrypt your data. So for the enhanced security reasons, so the SharePoint, some kind of the SharePoint features now disable the 3.0 connection encryption by default. And so, as well as there are kind of the third encryption algorithms, they have some kind of the no weakness issues. So there are some kind of the SharePoint features disable the SSO 3.0 for the security issues. Okay. We also enhanced the kind of the file names. So the SharePoint historically they disallowed, they blocked the certain file types, but right now we are now supported these kind of the characters with the file names with this kind of the characters. So here are something the new and improvements. So get continue, we will have some more new and improvements here. So one is the image and the video previews. So with the SharePoint 2016, so when you post image and videos into a document libraries, so you can see a preview. So when you hovering your mouse over an image or the video, so you will see a preview, so the people can quickly to see what's exactly the content on the video or the image here. We have the large file support. So previously, the SharePoint did not support uploading the document more than 2 gigabytes, but the SharePoint 2016 now allows you to upload a larger file size into the SharePoint. Okay. With the main role farm topologies, so the role of the server, which is specified when you deploy the SharePoint farm, and you need to, if you decided to choose the main role farm topology, so you are going to choose the specific role that you are going to install into the SharePoint. So the SharePoint automatically to configure the services on each server based on the server role you just specified for this server. And we also have the mobile experience. This is for when you are using the mobile device to access the homepage for the SharePoint Server 2016, and you can tap the tiles or the links on the screen to navigate the site, and you can also switch to the mobile views to the computer. So there will be the specific views for the mobile for the user are working on the SharePoint 2016 on their mobile devices. So something about the new and improvement here. And these are the news and improvements for the new controls on the OneDrive for Business. So you can click the control to create the Office documents. You can upload the files, or you can synchronize your files for offline use, and you can share your files from the OneDrive for Business. Okay. Also, we have the we can open the document. We can open the document format that enables you create new files in the document, and then you can save OneDrive files so that the users can edit the new file with the program they choose. With the Microsoft Project Server 2016, so there is some news with the SharePoint 2016. We know that in the past, such as in the SharePoint Server 2013, if your customer would like to deploy the Project Server 2013, there will be new installations. You have to install the new installation into your farm. But with the Project Server 2016, actually, this is a part of the SharePoint installations. So your customer don't need to install the separate project server into your farm, because this installation has already been included in the SharePoint 2016. We also have the Power Pivot add-in and the Power View that is actually available in the SQL Server 2016. So the users can use the Power Pivot for the SharePoint ID. So this is quite important for the users to build the business intelligence features if you are using some kind of features in the SQL Server 2016, such as the Power Pivot Gallery, or you want to schedule the data refresh, or you want the workbooks as your data sources here. So here is the features. So we have these kind of the features, including the request manager improvements here. With the SharePoint server, the SharePoint request manager so can be provisions on the server roles in the list here. So they can support the throttling and the routing scenarios, including the application, distributed cache, and the front end. Also, we have the simplified SSL confirmations for the central administration. So you can simplify the process for configuring the central administration to use the SSL bindings. We have the following the PowerShell commands for you to configure your SharePoint farms. And but you must have a kind of the server certificate to the central administration IS website if you would like to use the IS binding with the security certificates. But for the very important here, for you can use this PowerShell to configure the SSL for your central administration. We can have the three options for upgrading your site collections here. You can upgrade the site collection on mount on browser, or you can use the PowerShell, such as upgrade the SP site. This is quite important when you would like to upgrade your sites, such as from your SharePoint 2013 into the SharePoint Server 2016. Today, I will also give you some information about the roadmap to upgrade your farms from the older versions into the SharePoint 2016 farm. We have the with the SharePoint 2016, we have a link to the recycle bin into the left navigation area for your OneDrive and the team sites. Here are some of the informations about the Duet Enterprise for the SharePoint and the SAP Server 2.0. So this is a jointly developed product with Microsoft and SAP, so they can enable us integration or the interoperabilities between the SAP applications and the SharePoint SharePoint Server Enterprise editions here. The single server farm option, actually right now, it is for the standalone installation mode. So with a single server farm option here, so can be used on the same computer for the test, dev, and demo purpose here. So in the past, we know that in with the SharePoint server, you have two options: the farm deployments or the standalone deployment. But in the SharePoint server, we have this kind of the single server farm that is exactly the same with the standalone. Use these options, you can use for your test and demo purpose here. With some of the SharePoint BI capabilities, so we have the with the BI capabilities, we have you can integrate with the SQL Server 2014 with a Power Pivot or the Power View for the SharePoint add-ins, but those cannot be installed in the SharePoint. So into the SharePoint 2016, If you would like to have this kind of the BI capabilities, you can use the SQL Server 2016. With the new informations, there are some features has been removed, such as the tags or the nodes, or we also preferred the using the PowerShell instead of the STS ADMEXC. So those were used in the previous the features here. So here are some of the quick information about what's new and what's changed with the SharePoint 2016. So let's give you some kind of the new installation mode with the SharePoint 2016 here. Okay, so let's switch to this slide. So previously we have the guidance that is kind of how we can configure or how we can install the different SharePoint server roles. But with the SharePoint 2016, we have this kind of the guidance in code. So we have this with the main role service deployment, so that your user can specify what kind of the roles that you would like to deploy into your SharePoint server. So we have these options, such as the front end, such as the applications, or the distributed cache, or the search, or the customer service here. So this is quite useful, and it is optimized for the fast performance services here. With the distributed cache, distributed cache actually, this is optimized for the distributed cache, and you can leverage this, and this is kind of, you can be used and can be load balanced for the farm traffic as well. With the search, the roles, actually it is optimized for your search here. You can also have the custom, if you choose custom. So this means that you can have any service applications that you might want to configure and you want to dedicate into this server. But if you choose the single server farm, this is exactly the standalone server farm as we installed the earlier SharePoint farms here. But the single server farm, as we mentioned, is typically be used for the test and the demo purpose here. Okay, so let me choose something about the main roles. Here is a list of the main roles you can get here. So check here the web front end. So the web front end is typically be used to retrieve the internet request from the client. So there is kind of the kind of the user type the internet request, and there will be the Internet Explorer, the ICE Internet Exploration service that is installed on these servers here. Or we have the applications. So the application role is typically such as you have the service applications, or you have the service or the components to be running in the back end. For example, you might have the search crawl requests or the user profile service applications, those kind of the applications that can be working in the back end. So these servers are optimized for the high throughput. With a distributed cache, so actually this is optimized for the distributed cache which can be load balanced for your farm, the traffic here. Also, we have the search, such as you are running on the search rows. This is optimized for the search service applications. So with the search enterprise searches, so you can align how the search rows can be installed into the SharePoint farm. Also, we have the custom rows, so you decide which rows you would like to be running or be installed into this service. So here is some of the information about the main row. So why we are deploying the main row? So main row, we mentioned that this is the new installation method with the SharePoint server. So why we would like to build the main row? So we would like to highlight these four the reasons for choose the main row deployment with the SharePoint 2016. So first one is the simplified deployment. So I still remember in the past when I was going to plan the deployment SharePoint installations to our customers, we have to choose which service should be running, which service should be stopped. So with the main row deployments, so we don't need to take care much about exactly which service. So we just choose the roles here. So we no longer to worry about which service should be started on your service. So you just choose the recommended main row topologies. So you just focus on your functionalities to enable your farms here. And the second one is about it improve the performance and the reliabilities here. So Microsoft has been operating the SharePoint Online for years, and actually it has already analyzed the performance characteristics on the SharePoint at the internet scale. So including the CPU, including the disk I/O or the network latency. So with the main row, Microsoft will give you the preferred performance characteristics with this place here. Also, we have the simpler capacity planning and the farm scalabilities. So you can deploy the main row topology based on your capacity plannings with the main row topologies. So by default, with deploying your farm in the recommended main row topology, so you are able to leverage better, predictable, and prescriptive capacity planning guidance for your customer here. Also, we have some kind of the high availability considerations. So the high availability is quite important for our customer. They would like to build on the SharePoint 2016. So the very important is about the zero downtime patchings. So in the most time you are working on your support, and you should know this kind of the field. So we always like to stress and recommend the high availability with the kind of the prevention of outages, and we would like to keep our customers' environments up and availabilities. So those are kind of the obvious needs for the high availabilities. So we need the high availability with the zero downtimes. So just dive into the zero downtime now. We will be some of the in the sessions in the future, and we will discuss about what kind of how you can build the high availabilities in the next kind of the session. So we have one session, so is actually the farm solutions with Azure, and in that session we will talk more about how we build the high availability solutions with the SharePoint 2016 with the Azure farms here. Okay, So with the model 1, I just take some time to introduce the SharePoint 2016. So in the model 2, let me talk something about the planning. So think about that you have a customer, and right now they have been working on the SharePoint 2010 for many years. So they decided to move into the SharePoint Online. So what's the planning for you to for your customer to move into the SharePoint Online? So the first thing, we cannot move everything into the SharePoint in a very short time. So the customer might decide to move some kind of their content into the SharePoint Online, such as they decided to move their OneDrive or the OneDrive for Business into the SharePoint Online. So this is quite simple and is more easy than the others. But if your customer they have the farm solutions, or they have the kind of the workflows, or they have the deeply codings into their existing server farms, they cannot easily to move into the SharePoint Online. So they decide to do some changes on their farm. Also they would like to they have the Office 365, so they want to have a very consistent views on the SharePoint Online on the SharePoint server. So we have a couple of the features with the hybrid scenarios, and help your customer to have a very consistent view with the SharePoint farm here. Okay, so here is the upgrade path. So I'm talking about the SharePoint 2013 SP1 to be upgraded here. So if you would like to upgrade into the SharePoint 2016, you should have the SharePoint Server 2013 SP1. So you might ask, what happens if I have right now we have the SharePoint 2007, or if I have the SharePoint 2010. So what happens if we would like to move into the SharePoint Online? So you need to upgrade from your older versions, such as from the SharePoint 2010 into the SharePoint 2013, and then you can upgrade into the SharePoint 2016 here. So this is the upgrade, the methods or the approach here. So there are the 3 stages we need to think here. So the first one, we need to create a new SharePoint 2016 farm. So with a new SharePoint farm, you can copy the databases into the new farm. And then you can upgrade the service applications. In the last point, we can upgrade the content databases. So the content database is quite important for our customer if they want to upgrade into the newer versions here. With the content databases, actually, you will have the site collections. With the site collections, you will have the documents or the document libraries here. Those site collections are installed into the content databases. So we just back up the content databases from the SharePoint 2013, and then restored it into the SharePoint 2016 databases. And then we can use some kind of the PowerShell to upgrade the schema of the databases. And then we can attach the database into the SharePoint 2016 here. So this is the general steps, the general upgrade path for upgrade from the SharePoint 2016 into the SharePoint 2016. So here are we also have a kind of the information, so we need to collect something that we have some custom configs. For example, we have the alternative access mapping. So we need some kind of the change to collect this kind of the configs, and we need to apply it into the new version, new SharePoint 2016. So this will be this will make sure that our customer can have the SharePoint link, SharePoint URL to if it upgrade into the newer versions. Also, we need to collect the authentication providers, such as if you are in the older versions, you might have the ADFS, or you might have the not only the Windows authentication, but also you might have the Intel the claim-based authentications. So some kind of the authentication the methods. So you need to collect here. Also a kind of the code templates or the managed paths. Those are kind of the things you need to collect. You need to write down what exactly these kind of collections, and then you can apply the configs into the newer SharePoint farm. Quite important here, we understand we have the customizations. Customization, I think, this is quite complex. Because it will depend on what exactly the customizations that is working in the older versions here. Such as you have the workflows, you have some kind of the features, you farm features, or the farm that is installed the farm solutions here. You need to decide if this kind of the code, if they can be working in the newer versions here. So the customizations is very complex. We might have here. But when we decided to move to the upgrade, what we are focusing on most important is we are going to focusing on the upgrade your data, including the SharePoint list or the document libraries here. So exactly we were getting the databases. We will copy the databases into the newest SQL Server here. So first we have this kind of steps here. So on the databases, we need to use make sure if we would like to back up the databases, first we need to make the database as the read-only. So if we set the database as the read-only, and it will prevent the users to make any new changes on this SharePoint server farm in the older versions during our migration stage here. So we're gonna we can use the PowerShell, or we can use the SQL Server tools to set the SharePoint 2013 databases to read only, and then we can perform the database backup, and we can restore it into the SharePoint, into the SharePoint 2016 databases here. So in this step, we will have the database backup. We can restore, back up the databases and restore it into the newer SharePoint farm here. Following the database, we also have kind of not only the databases. The database, the content database is actually the content for your web applications. We also have a kind of the service application databases. So those kind of if you can also upgrade your service application into the newer SharePoint farm. So with the service application, we have this kind of the service applications that can be copied into the newer versions, including the business data connectivity and the managed metadata and the performance point, or the search administration. Okay, so need to point here the search administration. We can only back up the administration data, but if you still need to recall everything on the search in the SharePoint new farm here. Okay, so we can upgrade the if you would like to upgrade the service application databases, so we need to create a new service applications, and then we need to provide the name of the copied databases here. So the steps is generally like this. You back up the service application database into the new the SharePoint 2016 database, and then you just create exactly the same service application with the copy database, and then that will be okay for upgrade your database here. So these are kind of the service application. So we also have a kind of the web applications here. So we just talked about the content databases here. So we need to create a new web application, and then we need to attach the new web application into the SharePoint, attach the copy databases into the new web applications. But there are something kind of the important point here. So we want to keep the same URL, the port or the host data for the new web applications, or we need to keep the same authentication methods, or we need to try to create the match the paths, something a kind of the configurations or the properties on the new web application. We need to make sure the new web application to be exactly the same with the older web applications here. Okay, so here is something we create the site definitions here. So we need also to custom the site definitions, something like the style sheets, or you might have the CSS or the images, or you might have the custom web parts, or the custom web services, or the custom features, or the solutions. Those are kind of the customizations we need to do something. We need to make sure those customizations can be working exactly the same on the SharePoint 2016. Finally, we can use the upgrade content database here. So with the upgrade content database, we can use two PowerShell. Very important here. So first one is the test-sp content database. So this will be used to test your database if it can be mounted into the SharePoint 2016 farm. It will identify there are sorry, can you hear me? So I know that you can't hear clearly sounds. Okay. So here is the we just mentioned we will use two PowerShell. The one is the test-sp content database, and the second is the mount-sp content databases. The test-sp content database is be used to identify what exactly issues on that databases to make sure before you mount that database into the SharePoint farm. So you identified if any issues, and then if there is no issues, you can run the mount-sp content database here. And also with the mount-sp content database, you can run with the skip site upgrades. So you probably have the sites in the old versions, so you can skip the site upgrades. So you can you can test the SP site, the site collections into the new SharePoint farm, and then you can run the upgrade-sp sites to upgrade the sites separately here. So those are the stages to upgrade the My sites. So for example, if you are working on the SharePoint 2016 or 2013 and you have the My Site, you would like to move this My Site into the SharePoint 2016. So those are the steps for you. You can move into the using the My Site here. Okay. So the next steps is about by default, the new web application in the SharePoint 2016 use the claims authentication. But what happened if you were using the classic authentication in the previous environment? So you must migrate the user into the claims authentication. And also for the database attach upgrade, probably we exported and imported all the info path from templates in your environment when you create the new environment. So after you upgrade, you can now upgrade the links that are used in those upgraded farm templates to the point to the correct URL by using the PowerShell. So those are some things you need to take care. Okay, so in the last steps is about the validations. We can use the upgrade states page in the central administration. So this page lists all the database farm, the service applications, and the content databases along with the status. So it will also include a count of the errors and the warnings. So if the upgrade was not successful, you can review the logs and you can find what exactly the issues that might happen, so you can do some changes to make sure to repeat the upgrade again. So the generate we talk about in the model 2, we have already talked about to upgrade into the SharePoint 2016, and in the model 3, so we will talk about some of the hybrid scenarios here. With the hybrid scenarios, the customer, they will decide to move some of their content into their SharePoint on-premise into the SharePoint Online. So very common scenarios in the hybrid scenario is the OneDrive. So they still keep their team sites, the internet portal in the on-premise because they think there are a lot of customizations. So they can't make these changes into the SharePoint Online immediately because they need to take some time to evaluate, to recoding into their existing customizations. But there are some kind of the things or the content can be easily moved into the SharePoint Online, such as the My Site, right? The end users My Site can be move into the SharePoint. They want their end user to use the My Site in the SharePoint instead of the SharePoint on-premise to release their hardware investment here. So we will talk about the hybrid scenarios with the SharePoint 2016. So in this slide will appear many times. This slide will appear many times in our next few days delivery. In tomorrow and in the next week or the week behind next week, we will talk many things about the hybrid scenarios, including the hybrid scenarios such as the hybrid OneDrive, the hybrid team sites, or the business-to-business action sites, or we will talk about the extensible, the app launcher, or the profile redirector, the document collaborations, and also the hybrid search. Today we will give you some information about this, but I'm not going to talk more detail about this. So we will have the dedicated sessions to talk exactly how to build the hybrid scenarios here. So the first one, I'm going to talk something about the federated hybrid search. So what exactly here? So our customer want to have this kind of the scenario. So they are working on the SharePoint Online. They have the search center in the SharePoint Online. So they type something. They want to get the results from both the SharePoint Online and the SharePoint on-premise in a single search result page. So this is their purpose. So we think this is kind of the hybrid search. So we have two kind of the hybrid search topology. The first one is the federated hybrid search. The second one is the cloud hybrid search. So what's the difference here? So let me give you some flow about this. Right now, the customer, they have the Office 365. Probably they have already moved some of their content into the SharePoint Online. And also they have the SharePoint on-premise, such as they have an intranet portal. There are a lot of customizations. They cannot move this site into the SharePoint Online in a short time. So right now, they have a coexistence. The content locate on both the SharePoint Online and SharePoint on-premise. So with the SharePoint Online, we have the SharePoint Online search. The SharePoint Online search will get index on the SharePoint Online contents. Also, they have the SharePoint on-premise search. So they can get the search index on their SharePoint on-premise here. So right now we have the two dedicated the index location. So what happens if the user is in the SharePoint Online Search Center? They type something. For example, they would like to search the employment hands or some documents in the SharePoint search. So they will get the results from both the SharePoint Online Search Index and the SharePoint On-Premise Search Index. So the result from the two index locations and will be displayed into the SharePoint Online Search Center web page here. So this is a kind of the inbound federated hybrid search. Okay, if the user is on the SharePoint on-premise search center, they type something, the same way they can get the result from both SharePoint Online or the SharePoint on-premise search index. So this is exactly the outbound federated hybrid search topology. So this is exactly the federated hybrid search. So you can get the experience like this. So if the user types something, and you can use the result from the cloud or the result from the SharePoint on-premise here. So the result from the two search index will be show up in the display the result blocks in the SharePoint search here. So they can get the result from the two search index. Okay, so what exactly the cloud hybrid search? So we talked about the hybrid search. In the previous slide, I was talking about the federated hybrid search. So the cloud hybrid search is actually, there is something a little bit different here. So let me talk something about this. So the same way we have the SharePoint Online and also the SharePoint on-premise. So, but a little bit difference here, we don't have the SharePoint on-premise search index, only the SharePoint Online search index. So the SharePoint Online will get index all the content from both the SharePoint on-premise and the SharePoint Online. So this is quite important here. So our customer can reduce a kind of the hardware investments because they don't have the additional SharePoint server investments to host the SharePoint search index. Right now, we only have the SharePoint Online search index. So if the user is on the SharePoint Online, they can get exactly the result from the SharePoint Online Search Index. Or if it is in the on-premise environment, it can also get the result from the SharePoint Online Search Index here. So here is the cloud hybrid search. With the cloud hybrid search, we don't have the SharePoint on-premise search index. Okay, so here is the user experience. You can see that both the SharePoint Online and the SharePoint on-premise results are showing up in a single block. So you can see here, we can compare a little bit difference between the cloud hybrid search and the federated hybrid search. With the cloud hybrid search, we have a single block because the result is from the single search index. Okay, so a little bit difference in this place here. Okay, so here is some information about the hybrid search. The next is about the hybrid OneDrive for Business. So with the hybrid OneDrive for Business, we can provide the cloud storage for your users. So the users can navigate into the SharePoint Online, and they can leverage the Office 365 OneDrive. So they can move their content from their My Site into the SharePoint Online. So it will help you to release a lot of the storage, the space from your SharePoint, from your on-premise environment. Your customer can dedicate to use the Office 365 as their OneDrive. Okay, so you can decide some users, such as your customer is exploring the Office 365 features, so they would like to the IT department, they can use the OneDrive, but they still want the finance staffs. They still want the finance staffs to leverage the SharePoint on-premise OneDrive. So we can create the target audience with the OneDrive, though that is very important for our customer with a hybrid OneDrive for Business here. We can also have the modern attachments. So with the modern attachments, think about if you would like to send a video that probably have 200 gigabytes. That is a video to your customer. So you would like to send an email with a video to your customer. How you can send us? You cannot attach that video because the size of the file is too big, right? So you can leverage the modern attachments. So with a modern attachment, you can directly insert a link to a file from your OneDrive for Business, and then you can insert that link into an email, and you can just open the external sharing of that single file to your customer or to the external user. So your external user can directly open that link, the attached link from that email, and get content from your OneDrive for Business. So instead from attach the real file, you are attaching a link to your file from your OneDrive for Business here. So here is some of the steps here. So when you send an email to your customer, so that email probably include the video with the attachment. So you can click the insert, and there will have some kind of the attachments on the OneDrive for Business. So and then you can choose the file from your OneDrive, and then you can decide exactly which file to be sent out to your external user here. There are a couple of the more the hybrid options for you. You can leverage, you can learn in our upcoming the events, including the hybrid sites, the document following, or the hybrid profiles. Those are kind of the hybrid scenarios we can leverage in the future. So let me give you a quick demo about in this case. So we are going to show how you can move your content into your SharePoint. Okay. So I'm going to switch to my demo environment. So just let me know if you can see the desktop sharing. So if you have any questions, you are feel free to tell me, and so we can talk here. So give you a very quick sample about what exactly the hybrid search here. So right now, I think about our customer. They have right now they are working on the SharePoint 2010 for a long time. This is the SharePoint 2010. So this customer decided to move into the SharePoint Online. So they want to use the SharePoint Online, have the same experience here. So they have some users such as my name Hua Chen. So this user is working on the SharePoint Online. They have already moved into the Office 365. So right now I can leverage the Office 365 OneDrive right now. But I want to have a consistent experience here. But the problem is that I have my intranet portal. And this intranet portal is still in the SharePoint 2010. So I cannot move this intranet portal because probably this site might have a lot of the farm solutions, a lot of the workflows, the news. I cannot move this site into the SharePoint Online immediately. I need to have a hybrid scenarios here. So now I have the hybrid scenarios. So the user can use the SharePoint Online to find something such as the So if I am typing and search something, let me check this here. So you can see right now from this exactly the SharePoint Online search, if I try something, I can get the result from both the SharePoint Online. You can see this is the SharePoint Online site, but this is the actually SharePoint on-premise site. You can see this from the link. It is from the intranet.contoso.com. So this is exactly the SharePoint on-premise site here. Because I now have the hybrid scenarios here. So let me give you go through what we can do this from this place. So I have the SharePoint on-premise 2010. So I'm going to from this SharePoint 2010, you can see here, I have two sites, the portal sites and the team sites. So from the portal sites, I would like to still keep it on the SharePoint 2010. But from the team sites, I would like to move into the SharePoint 2016 because I would like to change this view from this place here. So right now, I am on the SharePoint 2010. I have the team sites that is actually located in this the content databases here. So I can perform the database backup. I can backup this. So I choose this option to backup these databases here. Right now, because the content database is backup, so I get these databases here. With this database, because this database will have been using the SharePoint 2016, so I can copy this the backup into the shared location. So first thing, I would like to upgrade this database into the SharePoint 2013 because finally I would like to move this database into the SharePoint 2016, but I cannot skip the version upgrade. So the next step, I would like to use the SharePoint 2016 as the template stage here. I'm going to remove something because I have already have this because this was done. So just to clear something, you can see on the team sites right now. The team sites is still on the teams. I have the team here. So this is the original stage here. So team.contoso.com. So you can see right now it is on the teams. You can see that this team site is in the 2010 version. So I just back up this and let me remove the 2016 here. This is on the 2016. So just remove these databases here. So because this was do some of the test in the past, I just remove this. So first thing, I would like to move the content database into the SharePoint 2016. Let me check how many exactly sites in the SharePoint 2016. I know don't have this here. So the next one is about I need to back up this database into the I need to back up this. So I have already in the SharePoint 2016, I have these databases here. This is backup, just I have created a backup. So let me copy it. Okay, so first thing, I need to back up the database. I need to back up the database here. So after I perform the backup databases here, I will see new databases is backup. So the next one, I'm going to perform the PowerShell. I have already prepared the PowerShell to be running here. So this is the 2016 PowerShell commands. I will use the two PowerShell that will be running. The first one is the test SP contents. So I'm going to upgrade the database into the SharePoint 2016, the web application. So I use this PowerShell command to the test the SP content databases here. So you can see there are some the warnings here. So probably the very important is the upgrade blocking. If this upgrade blocking is false, so means that I can still attach this into the newer version, but there are some issues, something like there are some the features that was installed in the older version but not enabled in the newer version. So there are some warnings here. So you can leverage this message to clear something to resolve this kind of the issues here. Okay. So right now I have this, and then I can mount the SP content databases here. So I can running this content database. So it will take some time to perform the upgrade here. So any questions? If when I'm doing the demos, you can feel free to ask me the questions. This will take a little bit of minutes, at least a little bit minutes, because the server farms is upgrade the schema in the backend. So when let me just let this running. So let me go back to the SharePoint 2016 search, and I will show you something about how exactly the hybrid search is looking here. You can see here. So still this user, if I am going to the SharePoint 2016, just check if the progress. Okay, so right now it's running correctly. So you can see there is one site has been upgraded here. So right now you can see here. Let me go to the SharePoint 2016 server farm. This is SharePoint 2016. So let me switch the SharePoint 2016 server farm. You can see here. So let me just check how exactly the site collection. Right now I'm using the hosted site collection here. So this is the team site that is linked to the SharePoint 2016. So the next thing, I need to change the DN settings here. Because right now the DN setting is still on the SharePoint 2010. So I'm going to in this DNs. So I just change this DNs here. So I need to okay, I need to okay, so right now it's a link to the SharePoint 2010. So from this same user, let me check here. The team sites. So this is exactly the same if you would like to move your My Site into the newer version. That is quite important. Yeah, so you can see I need to log in as the administrator because this is need to be to upgrade the site. You can see right now I'm using the administrator. a little bit difference here. As the administrator, it will be right now, it is the SharePoint 2010. So, but this right now, it is exactly still the same, the older versions, the older user interface. So I'm going to decide if I am going to upgrade the user experience. So I can go to the site collection. So there will be the site collection upgrades here. So I can upgrade this site collection. Also, you can create a test, the demo upgrade here. So by right now, I'm going to upgrade this site collection into the newer version. So the SharePoint Online is, the SharePoint on-premise is doing some changes in this place. So it will take some time to perform the upgrade here. Okay, so right now I'm going to because this will take some time. Let me switch to the something the user experience like this. Let me show you something about the hybrid search. What exactly here? So you can see here. I have already created the SharePoint Cloud Search Service application. So I can have the Cloud Search Service application. So I can create the content database, the content sources here. So I will have the two content source. The first one is the local SharePoint sites. It will crawl the local search, the SharePoint, the site collections in the SharePoint 2016. And I can also create a new content source to my SharePoint 2010 here. You can open this. You can see I have the intranet.contoso.com. So with the Cloud Search Service application, so the user, we will push the crawled contents. Sorry, we will push the crawled content from the SharePoint 2010 and into the Office 365. So finally, the end user can see the exactly results like this. So they can get the results. And they can get the result from the cloud search here. So let me switch to check if this the upgrade process is done. Refresh this page. Okay, the upgrade is successful. The upgrade is successful. So let me go to the continue to log on the team sites. You can see right now the team sites exactly with the SharePoint 2013 user experience. So this is the moving the upgrade from the SharePoint 2010 into the SharePoint 2013. So we can leverage the same stage, the same method to back up the database, to back up the databases from the SharePoint 2010, and then restore the same database into the SharePoint 2016. Okay, so I'm just skip this demo because this is exactly the same. So finally, if I am upgrade the content database into the SharePoint 2016, so you will see the something like this. This is the SharePoint 2016, and I can get the results. I can get the result, the team.contoso.com. So still I need to change the DNS to the SharePoint 2016. Okay, so if I switch the DNs, so I need to (2016), so it will be showing up in the SharePoint 2016 here. So that is the same way the user can move to upgrade their database into the SharePoint 2016 here. So what any questions if for the upgrade method here? Okay, so no questions. I'm going to switch back to my no possible. You have to be the SharePoint 2013 because there's a lot of the schema difference here. So the model 4 is about the hybrid environment. So right now I have already upgraded my content from the SharePoint 2010 into the SharePoint 2016. I have two sites from the SharePoint 2010. One is for the intranet and the other is the team sites. But considering there is a lot of the customizations in the intranet, so and right in the first phase, I'm not going to upgrade that site, but I have already upgraded the team site into the SharePoint 2016. So right now, I can use the SharePoint 2016 and have the hybrid scenarios. And also, I'm going to have the user profile, so I can ask my end users to have the hybrid OneDrive. Okay, so in this model, I will going to give you some information about how we build the SharePoint hybrid scenario. So with a SharePoint hybrid scenario, okay, so there is some type of information, type of issue. The hybrid, the auditing and the taxonomy is not a preview. So I'm going to change these slides after this session. Okay, so just say sorry. So with the hybrid features, we have these kind of the functionalities: hybrid OneDrive and business, hybrid sites, the hybrid cloud search, hybrid federated search, and hybrid auditing, and hybrid taxonomy. Okay. Okay, so this is the infrastructure needed. We need to have the Active Directory. So with the Active Directory, the users, they can synchronize their user information from their Active Directory into the SharePoint, into Office 365. SharePoint 2016 is farm is optional, but actually we also support the SharePoint 2013. It can also have the same, almost the same versions with the hybrid scenarios here. Also, we have the Azure Active Directory. So the acronym is AAD Connect. So we can use the AAD Connect to synchronize our user information into the SharePoint, into the Office 365. So we have three identity models: the cloud identity, the synchronized identity, and the federated identity. And I will give you some more information about with the identity models. We also have a new authentication method. That is the pass-through authentication. So I'm thinking if I'm going to prepare this kind of the Office 365 identity sessions in the next few weeks. So, but basically we have three identity methods for our customer. Okay. So Robbie, if I am answer your question. The AD Connect is a direct sync tool, so you can synchronize the user information into the Azure Active Directory. So we will use these. We will use this into the this tool to the Office 365. With a synchronized identity, so the user is actually is synchronized into the Office 365. You can choose whether or not to synchronize your password into the Office 365. With a federated identity is about you will deploy the ADFS or the third-party identity provider, so you will have the single sign-on experience for the user to connect to signing into the Office 365. So this is kind of the federated identity provider here. So talking something about the directory synchronization. So think about we have a user, Jaden. So this user is located on the on-premise AD. So it will be synchronize the user attributes into the Office 365. And more importantly, here, there will be some kind of the SID. So there will be a kind of the SID is actually be copied into the Office 365. They will use these two ID to match the user from the Office 365 and the local Active Directory. How do we map in the access control lists? So this is very important. So when item is indexed in the Office 365, the access control entities also be copied into the Office 365. This will make sure if that user don't have permission to access to this, the content, the information can also not be shown up into the Office 365. So make sure the search can only show the results that the user have the permission to access. If the user don't have the permission to that document, the search don't show that result in the search results. So this is very important for the access control list. So this is so-called the security trim in the SharePoint search infrastructure. So today I just talk most of the contents, the informations here. So I'm going to give you some summaries about some kind of the search here. So you have the decide who you are determines what content you can search. So that means the user has the permission to access that content. So if that user have this permission to that content, and then that document will be shown up in the search result in the SharePoint Online. So if you want the user to have the permission, you have to be signed into the on-premise environment to get access to the exactly document. So the SharePoint, the search result only give you the result from the search index. If you click on that document, you have to sign into the on-premise environment, and then you can open the document here. So here is the logical architecture about the query. So in the previous demo, I just shown you about the cloud search service application, the cloud search service, how this is working. So here is some more details about this. So for example, this user, it is on the Office 365 Search Center. So he types something in the search inbox and hit the query button, and then the user has some kind of the token that contains his online identities, and then it will query the results from the get the result from the cloud search, get the search results, and then the SharePoint will send over the SharePoint on-premise claim into the SharePoint Online. So the user will get the result with his online claims, and then it will get the result here. Also, we have the ADFS. So this is actually the last slide I'm in today's session. So with the ADFS, you will have a single sign-on experience for your customer environment here. So if this is a federated user, the user will be get into the ADFS environment here. So this is exactly the last slide. Let me give you a quick demo about what exactly the Office 365, the hybrid environments, the hybrid search, the Azure Active Directory. Give you some quick information about this, but we will have a dedicated session to talk exactly about the Office 365 identity model. So right now, I'm switching to my demo environment. So you can see right now, I have in the on-premise Active Directory, I have the user and the computers here. So I can create the users. For example, I put this user in this domain, the OU. If I create a new user, such as so this is the user principal name. I choose exactly the customer domain. So I'm not going to talk more about this because we have dedicated session. So just to give you some quick information about this. So I can perform the forced synchronization. I can use this PowerShell command, something like this. This is a delta or the forced synchronization. After I perform this synchronization, so I can use this tool. Actually, this you can use this to monitor the synchronization process here. It will take some time. And finally, you will see here in the Office 365, you will see that the user is actually synchronized. You can see the sync type. We have the sync with Active Directory. So some users actually is synced with the Active Directory here. Those users actually is synchronized here. Those user, the same user such as this user, is synchronized, and then it will get the results from the place here. So you can see from this place, from the SharePoint on-premise also, we can configure the hybrid cloud search with the hybrid of the OneDrive with the SharePoint 2016. We have the Office 365. We can configure the hybrid OneDrive and the site features. So we can specify the my site URL is not the SharePoint on-premise my site, and also we can set the target audience. We can choose everyone, or we can choose a specific the users. This is very important. For example, if you would like to phase out the hybrid features to my environments, so I want to only the IT department to have the SharePoint Online OneDrive, but the other users still use the SharePoint on-premise, so I can check the target audience here. So with the target audience, and then we can use the OneDrive sites here. So the user in the user still the option, so it can go to the team sites.
Oh, just wait, take some time. You can see if the user is right now in the SharePoint on-premise, it can click the OneDrive. You can see here. It will just navigate into the Office 365, the My Sites. So no matter the user, where the user is in the SharePoint Online or in SharePoint on-premise, so they can have the very consistent experience for them to get ahead about this here. So here is some of the quick information about the hybrid OneDrive. You can quickly to know this here. Okay, so just switch. Okay, just check this. Suppose the user should be shown up in this user. I'm not going to show more about this here. Okay, switch back to my slides. I think today I have talked most of my sessions. So right now we still have 10 minutes, so we can go into the Q&A sessions. So please feel free to ask questions. So you are feel free to, and then we can answer your questions together. We do remember in the Q&A session, you know that we have the upcoming sessions. Tomorrow, I will talk the external sharing with the SharePoint Online and the partner experience extranet. So feel free to register the session. And next week, we will talk something about moving to the cloud with OneDrive for Business and the Office 365 teamwork organizations. And that's something about the planner, the Microsoft Teams, something like this. With protect your data in the SharePoint Online and OneDrive for Business, this is about, we will talk about something like the DLP, the IRM, something like this. Yeah, so in the Q&A, please ask questions. Yeah. So no, I noticed you type the actually upgrade SharePoint 2010 to SharePoint 2013 before to SharePoint 2016. What does it mean?